What if I told you that something as intimate, as deeply human as sex, could ripple through every corner of a woman's health, and that its absence might be whispering subtle warnings to your body even now? Now, before you scroll away or feel a twinge of discomfort, let me assure you, this isn't about shame, and it's certainly not about judgment. This is about health, real health, the kind that affects how you sleep, how your heart beats, how strong your bones stay, and how happy your brain feels when you wake up each morning. You see, as women enter their 60s and beyond, conversations around sexuality often begin to fade. Society quiets them, friends shy away, and doctors, well, they don't always bring it up either. But that silence is a problem, because sex, or the absence of it, still matters. And what's more, many women are experiencing unexpected symptoms, fatigue, irritability, bladder changes, even depression, without realizing that part of the puzzle could be rooted in long-term sexual abstinence. So today, we're going to talk about what really happens when a woman stops having sex, not just from a biological perspective, but emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. And by the end of this video, you'll not only understand what's going on in your body, but how to regain control, reconnect with your vitality, and make choices that honor your health and happiness. If you stay with me until the end, I promise you'll walk away with a new perspective and some practical steps you can take, even if sex is no longer a part of your life by choice, circumstance, or health. This video isn't about having sex. It's about understanding how the absence of it shapes your well-being and how to thrive, no matter your situation. So, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on that little bell for more heart-to-heart, science-backed wisdom designed just for you. We talk real here, and we care even deeper. Let's start by lifting the curtain on something that rarely gets mentioned in doctors' offices, the hormonal shift that doesn't end with menopause. Many women believe that once they pass through menopause, the wild ride of hormonal changes is over. But in reality, the decline in estrogen, progesterone, and even testosterone doesn't simply drop and settle. It keeps shifting in subtle ways for years. When sex isn't part of your regular routine, that gentle decline can intensify. You may notice that your vaginal tissues feel drier, thinner, and more sensitive. You might feel a bit more uncomfortable down there, not just during intimacy, but even while sitting, walking, or doing daily tasks. This happens because sexual activity, even gentle forms of it, stimulates blood flow to the pelvic region. It nourishes tissues, maintains elasticity, and encourages your body to keep producing natural lubrication. When those signals stop, your body adapts, but not always in ways that feel good. You might start to feel a kind of quiet erosion of confidence, comfort, and sensation. And this isn't about vanity. It's about quality of life. Women tell me all the time that they feel disconnected from their bodies after years without intimacy, that they stop looking at themselves in the mirror, that they begin to feel invisible. But let me tell you something. You are not invisible, and these changes are not your fault. They're your body's way of saying, hey, I still need attention down here. The good news? Attention doesn't have to mean sex. It means circulation, movement, self-care, and, if you choose, medical support. There are wonderful treatments now, from natural moisturizers to gentle estrogen creams, that can restore comfort and confidence. And no, you don't have to be sexually active to deserve them. Now, let's talk about something a little more surprising. The effect of long-term abstinence on your immune system. Yes, you heard that right. Sex isn't just about pleasure. It's a physiological process that activates all sorts of internal systems. When a woman is sexually active, her body produces higher levels of certain immunoglobulins, tiny proteins that strengthen the immune system and help fight off viruses and infections. Think of it like an internal workout, where your body gets a little nudge to wake up and respond. Without that stimulation, your immune system can grow a bit quieter. For some women, this means they start catching more colds. For others, it might mean longer healing times or more inflammation overall. Now, let me be clear. This doesn't mean you need sex to be healthy, but it does mean that you might need to be more intentional about stimulating your immune system in other ways, through laughter, exercise, skin-to-skin touch like hugs and massages, even warm baths that soothe the nervous system. Your body needs signals to stay vibrant. And when sex steps away, you can absolutely replace those signals with others. The key is awareness and a willingness to treat your immune health with as much importance as your diet or medications. And speaking of signals, let's go even deeper, because long-term sexual abstinence doesn't just affect your body. It speaks to your mind. There's a reason why some women in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s report feeling lonelier, more anxious, or less alive after years without intimacy. Touch is a language. It's how humans bond. It's how we release oxytocin, that beautiful, calming hormone that says, you're safe, you're loved, you're seen. When that connection disappears, especially if you live alone, your brain begins to adapt, and not always in your favor. Your cortisol, the stress hormone, might spike. Your sleep can grow shallower. You may find yourself craving sugar, snapping more often, or feeling inexplicably down. These are real chemical shifts, not imaginary, not dramatic, real. And if no one has told you this before, let me say it now. You deserve tenderness. Whether it comes from a partner, from friends, from pets, or from yourself, your brain thrives on connection. So don't underestimate the power of physical closeness. A hand on the back, a shared laugh, a cuddle with a grandchild. All of these can soothe the nervous system in ways that mirror what sex once did. There's one more thing I need to tell you before we go further. Some women, especially after many years of abstinence, report that they stop seeing themselves as sexual beings entirely. And while some find peace in that, others feel grief, a loss of identity, a sadness that isn't always easy to name. If that's you, I want you to know you're allowed to grieve, and you're also allowed to reclaim. Whether that means touching your body again, dressing in a way that makes you feel vibrant, or simply saying out loud, I'm still a woman, I'm still whole, I'm still here. That matters. You are not past your prime. You are in a new season, and seasons are not ends, they are beginnings. Let's shift gears now, because this next part surprises almost every woman I talk to. It's about your bones. Yes, your bones. Did you know that sexual activity helps maintain bone density in women after menopause? It's true. The hormonal benefits of sexual arousal, specifically the release of testosterone and estradiol, help preserve the strength of your skeletal system. And when sex stops, those benefits decline over time. This doesn't mean your bones will break tomorrow, but it does mean that long-term abstinence might be one of several quiet contributors to osteoporosis risk. So what do we do about it? We move. We lift light weights. We walk in the sunshine. We talk to our doctors about bone scans and calcium intake. And if intimacy isn't part of your life, you find other ways to trigger that hormonal cascade. Through exercise, through creativity, through dance, through laughter. Your bones, like your spirit, respond to joy. Now, I want to pause here and take a breath with you. Because if this feels heavy, or surprising, or even a little sad, that's okay. These conversations are rare, but they're also powerful. The truth is, when we stop talking about sex after a certain age, we stop honoring a part of ourselves. But when we open the door, even just a crack, we remember that we are not broken. We are simply shifting. And with awareness, we can choose how we shift. There's something remarkably powerful that happens when a woman begins to understand her own shifts. It's like turning on a light in a room you didn't realize had grown dim. And now that we've shed some light on how long-term abstinence can affect your hormones, immunity, emotions, and even your bones, let's take a step further into one of the most quietly misunderstood effects of all, your pelvic floor. You may have heard of it. Maybe your doctor mentioned it once. Maybe you saw it in a magazine headline and flipped the page. But the pelvic floor is one of those hidden systems in your body that holds more power than you can imagine. It supports your bladder. It supports your bowel. It even supports your uterus. And when you stop having sex, particularly penetrative sex, or any activity that engages those muscles, something starts to change. Those muscles grow weaker, stiffer, and less responsive. The result? Bladder leaks when you laugh or cough, difficulty holding in gas, a feeling of pressure in the lower abdomen that wasn't there before. And the worst part? Many women just accept it. They buy pads. They avoid long walks. They laugh a little less freely. But let me tell you this, and I want you to really hear me. This is not inevitable, and it is not untreatable. Your pelvic floor responds beautifully to attention. Gentle exercises like Kegels, guided pelvic therapy, And even yoga can bring tone and resilience back to that area. And if you've been abstinent for a while, don't be surprised if reconnecting with your body, through mindful movement, through massage, even just through awareness, begins to make you feel grounded again, right where it matters most. You don't need a partner to reclaim that strength. You only need permission, your own. And while we're on the subject of reclaiming, let's talk about desire. Desire doesn't vanish because you turn 60 or 70 or 80. What often disappears is the space for it, the conversations, the invitations, the recognition that a woman's pleasure doesn't expire. When you've been sexually inactive for a long time, it's not uncommon to feel like desire just went away. But often, what's really gone is the spark, the small external or internal cues that used to fan that flame. A flirty glance, a gentle caress, a sensual thought that you allowed yourself to enjoy without guilt. The good news? That spark is still in you. It may be buried under practicality, routine, or past hurt, but it's there. And reconnecting with it doesn't mean diving into romance or rekindling a physical relationship you don't want. It might simply mean giving yourself permission to feel pleasure again, in any form. A warm bath, a silky lotion, a dance in your living room when no one is watching. Pleasure isn't just for the young, it's for the living. And if you're watching this, my friend, you are very much alive. But what happens when you try to reconnect with that side of yourself, and grief shows up? Because here's something we don't talk about enough. The emotional pain that can arise from long-term abstinence, especially if it wasn't your choice. Maybe you lost your partner. Maybe illness or trauma created distance. Maybe your relationship changed. Maybe you were never given the freedom to express your sexuality in the first place. Whatever your story, I want you to know it matters. I've spoken to women who cry quietly when they talk about how they miss being touched, not for sex, but for comfort, for recognition, for feeling cherished. And I've heard others say they feel ashamed for still wanting intimacy, like it's something they should have outgrown by now. Let me be the one to tell you, there is no age limit on the desire to be seen, held, or loved. It's part of being human. And if abstinence has created a void in your heart, a space where connection used to live, please give yourself grace. You didn't fail. You didn't fall behind. You adapted. And now, if you choose, you can begin to heal. That healing might look like therapy. It might look like journaling. It might look like slowly building emotional intimacy with a trusted friend. Or simply saying to yourself, I miss this, and that's okay. Grief, unacknowledged, becomes a weight. But grief honored? That becomes wisdom. That becomes strength. Now, I want to touch on something that many women feel but few articulate: how long-term abstinence affects your confidence. For many, the absence of sex begins to change the way they feel in their own skin. You might look in the mirror and see someone unrecognizable. You might feel less feminine, less radiant, less wanted. And over time, that shift in self-perception doesn't just stay on the surface. It trickles into how you move, how you speak, how you connect with others. You may stop dressing in ways that make you feel beautiful. You may shy away from social events. You may even hesitate to pursue new hobbies, travel plans, or friendships, because that quiet voice inside keeps saying, why bother? But here's the truth that breaks that illusion. You are still that woman. The one who used to laugh so hard she cried. The one who turned heads, even if she didn't notice. The one who had dreams and desires and so much fire in her that even the hardest years couldn't put it out. You are still her, and you don't need a man, a partner, or a relationship to bring her back. What you need is a gentle reminder that your worth was never tied to your sexuality. It was only ever enhanced by it. It's still in you, underneath the grief, underneath the silence, underneath the years. And now, let's talk about something that might surprise you. Cognitive health. Yes, your brain. We often think of sexual activity as purely physical or emotional, but neurologically, it plays a powerful role. Sexual engagement lights up multiple regions of the brain, boosting memory, enhancing creativity, improving mood regulation. When that stimulation is absent for years, some women report feeling foggy, less sharp, less inspired. While many factors influence cognitive decline, the brain, like every other organ, responds to use, to novelty, to stimulation. So, if you're no longer engaging sexually, what can you do? Feed your brain in other ways. Learn something new. Take a class. Travel, if you can. Volunteer. Do crossword puzzles. Paint. Sing. Talk to people outside your circle. Anything that stretches your mind counts. Because you know what's even more powerful than sex for the brain? Curiosity. If you keep asking questions, seeking beauty, reaching for joy, you'll be giving your mind the same richness that intimacy once brought. You just have to stay open and brave. Now, let's shift for a moment to the spiritual side of things. For many women, sex, or the lack of it, is deeply intertwined with faith, meaning, or their sense of purpose. Maybe abstaining was a conscious spiritual decision. Maybe it was born from grief. Maybe it just happened slowly over time. But for some, there's a feeling of loss not just physically, but spiritually, a sense that something essential has gone quiet. And that quiet can be sacred, or it can be suffocating. I've had women in their 70s tell me they feel closer to themselves, to God, to peace than ever before. And others tell me they feel disconnected, like they've lost a part of their identity. Whichever is true for you, please know, your experience is valid. If intimacy used to feel like a way you connected to something deeper, and that connection feels lost, it may be time to explore new paths. Meditation, prayer, creative expression, nature walks, deep, honest conversations with other women. You are not alone in this, and your spiritual life can continue to deepen and bloom, no matter what form your physical life takes. We often treat sex like a chapter that ends, but I see it more as a thread. Sometimes it weaves tightly through our days. Sometimes it loosens, but it's always part of our fabric, and it deserves to be honored, even if it looks different now. There's a moment in every woman's life when she starts to wonder, not out loud, but deep within herself, have I changed too much to feel that kind of closeness again? Have I gone too long without it to go back? And if you've been abstinent for a while, whether it's been months, years, or even decades, those questions can feel like quiet echoes in the back of your mind. They sneak in when you're brushing your hair, when you're watching a movie with a tender scene, when someone laughs and touches your arm, and you're reminded how long it's been since you felt that kind of electricity. But here's what I want to say to you. Face to face, heart to heart. You are not too far gone. You are not out of time. And you are not broken. Your body is wiser than you think. Your heart still knows the rhythm of affection. And your spirit, your spirit, is still capable of connection, pleasure, healing, and joy. Yes, there are changes. There may be discomfort. There may be awkwardness. There may be grief or fear or even a bit of embarrassment. But there is also room for rediscovery. One of the most powerful things a woman over 60 can do is this: reclaim her narrative. Not the one that society wrote. Not the one whispered in hushed tones, but the one that you get to write, starting today. Maybe you decide that intimacy looks different now. Less about sex, more about presence. Maybe it means reconnecting with a partner after years of distance. Maybe it means a new relationship. Or maybe, just maybe, it means finally having a relationship with yourself, where your body isn't a stranger and your needs aren't an afterthought. That kind of relationship takes time. It takes patience. It takes courage. And yes, it takes letting go of shame. Because the truth is, we were never taught how to honor ourselves as sensual beings as we age. We were told to hush, to hide, to fold ourselves into caretakers, mothers, widows, retirees. But never once did they tell us, you were still allowed to want, to feel, to be touched, to be seen. So let's say it together now, even if only in your mind. I'm not done. I'm not dried up. I'm not too old for desire. Now, here's something even more important to hear. It is okay if you don't miss it. If sex hasn't been part of your life, and you feel perfectly content, fulfilled, and whole, then celebrate that peace. There is no right way to age, no golden rule of sexuality after 60. The only truth is your truth. But if there's a small, aching part of you that does miss it, maybe not the act itself, but the closeness, the intimacy, the vitality, it's time to gently invite that part back into the light. Start small. Talk to someone. Maybe your doctor, maybe a trusted friend, maybe a therapist who specializes in relationships and aging. Not because you're broken, but because you matter. Your needs matter. Your story matters. And if your body feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable, take the first step toward reconnecting with it. Maybe you book a massage. Maybe you start doing gentle stretches every morning. Maybe you buy soft pajamas that make you feel beautiful. Maybe you light a candle just for you and sit in silence, allowing yourself to just be in your body again. Because this body, your body, it has carried you through heartbreak and joy, through raising children or building a career, through loss and laughter and change after change after change. And still, it is yours. Still, it responds to love. And here's the surprising part. Often, the more you begin to love your body again, the more alive you feel. Your posture changes. Your skin glows differently. You start walking with more intention. You begin to look in the mirror and see the woman you used to be and the woman you've become, and you smile at both. And all of that, every single bit, can happen without ever needing to re-enter a sexual relationship. But it can also prepare you for one, if that's something you desire. So, what happens to a woman when she stops having sex? She changes, yes, but not in just one direction. She softens in some ways, hardens in others. She learns how to live without a certain type of connection. But deep beneath the silence, she often longs for one thing above all else, to feel alive. And feeling alive isn't just about sex. It's about connection, vitality, curiosity, and the courage to step into the second half of life with your eyes wide open and your heart ready for more. So if you've been abstinent and you've wondered, is this just how it is now? I want to offer you this invitation. It doesn't have to be. You are not too late to discover yourself. You are not too late to reconnect with someone. You are not too late to rekindle that spark within your soul that says, I am still here. In fact, that voice, it's the strongest it's ever been. And if you follow it, if you trust it, if you let it lead you gently out of hiding, you might just find that this chapter, this new, tender, honest chapter, has more richness than you ever expected. So now I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell me, have you experienced a shift in how you view intimacy or closeness since turning 60? Do you feel more connected to yourself? More distant? What surprised you the most? Let's create a safe, supportive space for every woman to share her truth, because your voice just might help another woman find hers. And if this video touched something inside of you, if it helped you feel seen, heard, or just a little less alone, then I have something for you. Right there on your screen is another video. Go ahead and click it. It might just change how you wake up tomorrow. You deserve that. You deserve to feel powerful, radiant, and alive. Here's to living your best life at any age. I'm proud of you. I see you. And I'll be right here for the next step of your journey.